So it seems to be trending to call someone a narcissist because they may show some signs of control or selfishness from time to time. So I don't know about you, but I noticed that it just seems to be like trendy to call someone a narcissist, which takes away the seriousness of the term and can be confusing to people because narcissistic tendencies are pathological and extreme. They are over the top and relentless. Everything is overly exaggerated, hypersensitive, highly impulsive. So it just seems like social media's fascination with narcissism has unfortunately led to its misuse of the term. And it's unfair to those who have generally suffered from narcissistic abuse. It can cause tremendous amount of stress and anxiety, psychological harm, PTSD, trauma. It also can affect your nervous system. It can even affect you physically, emotionally. It can even change your behavior. Narcissistic abuse is devastating. The amount of trauma these individuals inflict upon others is beyond comprehension. I do see more and more people coming out and sharing their story, which is really good because it really needs to be shared to shed some light on this type of abuse. Even self aware narcissists coming out to share their story and give their insight is great. I intend to share my story of surviving this type of toxic abuse from my ex husband. So it can be from a romantic partner, which is usually the case, a family member, a coworker, friend, roommate, even a religious organization, believe it or not. I don't want to just share my story though. I don't want to just share it just to share it. I want to share it in an educational way, recognizing that knowledge is empowering. The more you know, it really does help with the healing process. By increasing awareness of this type of abuse, I want to empower others to safeguard themselves, recognizing all the red flags and signs to look out for. I want to also bring some hope and inspiration to those currently experiencing or healing from this type of abuse. The behavioral patterns associated with narcissistic personality disorder typically involves extreme disrespectful behavior, pathological lying, devaluation, severe infidelity. I was devastated having to come to realization that my ex was living a secret double life. He's for the streets. Literally was sleeping with the streets the entire time, with anything and everything. There was verbal abuse, intense anger and rage, coercive control, emotional manipulation, gaslighting, financial abuse, lack of empathy, lack of boundaries, contradictions, unkept promises, antagonism, interrogation, blame shifting, and condescending behavior, and so much more. So, like I said, yeah, I was disrespected terribly. I was neglected, ignored, abandoned. I was used, objectified, conned. I was basically sold a lie. I was left with nothing. I had to start all over again because he was not a provider. He was just there. And even though I had to start all over again, at the same time, I'm happier because I'm finally at peace. God is good. And you don't look at the world the same anymore. You don't look at people the same anymore, but that's not a bad thing. I don't want you to change who you are. We are good people. We're empaths. And that's why we were sought out to be abused in the first place, because we're good people. I know, it sounds crazy, but I want to make sure that we're better. We're more self-aware and mindful. We have a better understanding how evil and sick this world really is. You know, we look at the news shaking our head and crying over the victim stories we hear about. As naive as it sounds, and I'll speak for myself, I would never imagine I would actually be inviting the evil into my own home, into my own life. So learning and being knowledgeable just gives us a better outlook on the world and to be more careful. Safeguard ourselves so it doesn't happen to us again. It was so hurtful to come to realization that my marriage was all a lie. I don't know who I married. I really don't know who I married. Honestly don't. I never really had a marriage. I was used for his own personal gain. Just a few months after I got married, I noticed the mask started to slip. The physical intimacy stopped and the manipulation behavior began. Breadcrumbing began. I was called out my name. I can't tell you how many times I was called a bitch, yelling at me, cursing at me for no reason. Anything and everything made him snap at me. I couldn't do anything right. I couldn't say anything right. It was like my existence, my presence irritated him. It was like you're in a twilight zone. You're so confused because just like that, things just switch out of the blue. More and more comes to light, and the abuse gets worse. The whispers were there, and I chose not to listen. You know, God whispers to us. A lot of times we ignore those whispers because we feel like we need to hear screams and yells, but God whispers to warn us. He will scream at us now, but that usually happens when we are in pain and we're being hurt. The whispers are warnings to prevent us from being hurt. So we really have to pay attention to his guidance. Okay, my lovelies, I'm going to stop there. If any of this resonates with you, please comment below. This is the Narcissistic Abuse Survival Kit. I'm April, survivor turned thriver. And I hope we can continue this. Well, I don't hope. We will continue this conversation later. Love, peace, and blessings. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye for now.